Hey guys, what's up? Brandon here, and today I'm talking about my top fall baits. And right now it's kind of early fall, it's late September coming in October, and believe it or not, even though the water temp is really hot, those fish have been deep all year long, and they're kind of starting to scatter a little bit more. And you'll be surprised, even in those 80+ degree water temps, how shallow they can get. And today I'm going to tell you about the top baits I like to use. There's one that I really use a ton this time of year, and really no other time of year, and then a couple other that I interchange depending on the day and how the situation is going. So let's get to that now. Okay, so the first bait I want to talk to you about is the PopR, and I use both of them, but I'm using more the Magnum than I do the regular PopR, just because I can cast further, and that's a big deal this time of year, is casting distance, because especially, believe it or not, these fish will get up dirt shallow, and I'm fishing flats, flat points, flat banks, stretches that just even. I'll literally fish a top water all day long in late September, early October. Even though, you know, it's hot out, those fish are roaming. The bait's scattered, a little bit of everything. So that's why I like the bigger PopR, is because I can cast it further. And it makes a lot more commotion. It's just because of the weight of it. So this bait allows me to, I can place it up on the bank if I want to, around a laydown, and work it slow and catch whatever fish is hanging around that laydown or rock or whatever it is up shallow. Or I can throw it out in a ball of bait and work it as fast as I want, or slow it down depending on what the bait's doing, what the bait's moving. And you'll be surprised, this bait, it's an old school bait. Not a lot of people use it, but this time of year, anywhere from really mid-September until topwater dies for everything, this bait is always tied on, and I'll fish it all day long, because they're ready to feed up, and they can tell the days are getting shorter, it's getting cooler, and it's time to feed up for winter. All right, so the next bait is no big surprise, it's the square bill. And I like to use natural shad, is probably my favorite, and then any type of shad color really is a great color to use. You're mimicking those shad. Those fish, like I said, right now are getting shallow. They're chasing bait, and I flex anywhere between a 1.5 and 2.5. Common reasons I like the 1.5, but a 2.5 is good too, because that's the biggest this time of year. So and those bass are feeding up on the biggest shad for winter. But this bait this time of year, I'm going to be throwing it more in windier blown banks. This one's a little bit more of the later fall, as it starts to really get those cool mornings and you get a little bit of wind. This bait really excels for me anyways. Like I said, that PopR is when it's kind of still pretty warm and even, you know, slick out. I like that bait. A little bit of wind always helps anything, so I'll use that one a little bit more when I just got a little bit of chop. But if it's, you know, wind blowing pretty good, then the square bill is hard to beat. All right, and just like the square bill, I mean, they're pretty tight. I don't know if I would separate them really, but the lipless bait, the trap, this is a red eye shad, and again, in a live shad or a bait fish pattern of some sort, I stay away from the reds until when it gets really cold to spring. I stay basically till those shads start dying off and the fall bites kind of dying off. Then I'll start putting the shad colors away. But this is a great bait for those really shallow flats. When that square bill is almost too much up there, the trap's got a little bit tighter wobble, and you can bang it off those rocks up in those flats, because they're doing the same thing as they're doing with that top water, and that they're up there real shallow, pushing shad up on the bank, ambushing, and those shallow flats, shallow points, this bait really excels. And then lastly is really it's a jig. I like a finesse jig this time of year, a little smaller, a smaller trailer, a lighter, anywhere from a quarter to, I mean, a half. That's fine, whatever you're confident with. I like a little bit heavier, just because I like to feel the bottom a little bit more, kind of feel what I'm pulling over. But yeah, a natural jig color. I mean, it's fall, but it's still hot, and you know, fish eat a jig year round regardless, but I like to kind of in those shallow, you're still targeting those shallow areas, but that structure where maybe you've worked a top water through and you got a bite or a blow up and it didn't hit it. I like to throw this jig back in there at the target, at that piece of that lay down, that big rock, whatever it is, and kind of work it around it, because those fish will be hanging around that up shallow and maybe they just weren't chasing at that point. It's a fun time of year, and guys, if you have any questions, please leave them in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.